Lead block.
Lead block. Let's get to the playoff pictures. Kind of wet the palate on this segment. This is how it looks right now in the AFC, but let me tell the viewers something, a little secret. It's gonna change.
Come on.
This really is just what it is as of right now, so don't book any flights. Baltimore's the 1 seed. They've got a game against the 49ers this weekend on Monday night on Christmas, so that might change. 2 is Miami. 3 is Kansas City, but Kansas City has beaten Miami. And 4 is Jacksonville. Jacksonville's lost, 3 straight?
Yeah.
Not good. And they've got teams nipping at their heels in the Colts, the Texans, in the AFC South. And then you've got 2 other AFC North teams right there. The Broncos and the Steelers are still alive, barely. If the Broncos had won on Saturday, guys, against the Lions, they would be the 6th seed right now. Instead, they're the 11th seed. That is how this goes week to week. And then the NFC is even more wide open because we got a game Thursday night tomorrow between the Rams and the Saints that could totally topple this thing and put it all over its head. So you've got the 49ers. Right now the Cowboys have the 1. If both teams win out, Cowboys and Eagles, I looked this up, it would go to the 5th tiebreaker, strength of victory, which we don't even know what that means yet based on what these other teams are going to do. But how important is home field for the Cowboys, who can't win big games on the road? And then the Eagles, who have been so reliable at home. It's all up in the air, but it's so fun because so many teams are still alive.
They are still alive, and that's why it makes the top 5 so challenging. Peter, you just bought yourself a few minutes now as we tee up the top 5. That is where we stand after 15 weeks of football. Time to break out our whiteboards, as we mentioned. Top 5 teams. Jason, you are prepared for the assignment. You go first.
So are we going from 1 to 5 or are we going from 5? Because I feel like
5 to 1.
Okay.
Whatever you want, Jason.
I'm gonna start at number 1 because I feel like it's clearer
Right.
up at the top. And like Schrags, I put the date on there just to make sure. All right, number
Great
1,
idea.
I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like everybody will probably have them at number 1. They've been absolutely rolling. They rolled on your favorite teams in this league so far. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. They just look so convincingly when they win football games. Brock Purdy and crew on the offensive side of the ball. All right, number 2. I'm going the top of the AFC. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Lamar Jackson and crew, they're absolutely getting it done. These 2 teams face off this week, so we'll have a lot of fun determining who's the best at the end of the day. All right, number 3, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. They're a team that is playing well. They answered the call, lost to the Tennessee Titans, but won 30-0, put a goose egg up on the New York Jets, so they're in my 3 spot. All right, number 4, I'm going with the Lions. Okay. All right, they were struggling. Goff turning the ball over him. You just mentioned the red-hot Denver Broncos. They went into Detroit, and they beat them down. We did all the Dan Campbell, Sean Payton stuff. They whooped on them. And number 5, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. I know they did not look pretty against the Buffalo Bills, but this is a team that was playing good football. I think they can bounce back. They're going against the Miami Dolphins this week. The fun thing about this top 5, 4 of these teams all play each other this weekend, so it's going to be so much fun to determine it, come in here on a Tuesday and say, all right, these are now the top 5 teams after some of them have taken an L. This is my 5 right here, December 20th, 2023, my top 5 in the league.
Very good.
Well done. I will finish my writing up right here.
The white smoke going to come out, Peter, from the top?
America waits. Who is it going to be? I'll go Jason style, but I'm gonna go the same way here. Okay, so chalk for me as well. 49ers are the most dominant team in football. They haven't lost in what feels like 2 months. Number 2, Ravens, 1 seed. They've earned it. They beat the Jaguars in decidedly fashion. They beat the Rams in a really cool game. They're the 2. 3, I go Miami. I didn't have Miami on this list a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And I thought the loss to the Titans would really be one of the, but then they answered in a way without Tyreek and without Javon Holland. I am a believer in the Dolphins now, over a 30-0 win over the Jets. That seems odd. It's because of the way they responded on a short week despite a ton of injuries. I love that. I think McDaniel's got them dialed in. I think they might beat the Cowboys this weekend. We'll get into it throughout the show.
All right.
Lions 4. So many young guys. What a performance Saturday night against the Broncos. I feel like they're going to take care of business against the Vikings 2 the next 3 weeks. They'll be okay. We're going to see a home playoff game at Ford Field. And number 5, Jason McCourty, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys as well. No better team at home. No more mediocre team on the road. But I think the way this Eagles team is looking right now, the Cowboys, the Cowboys right now are playing better than the Eagles. And to me, I don't even have the Chiefs on this thing, which to me is still to this, I'll say it right now, I still have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. But right now, the 5 best teams, right here.
Do you think the Chiefs still manage the 1 seed some way?
They still can finagle that in a lot of ways.
Peter, would they be 6? Would the Chiefs be 6?
No.
Wow.
Bills would probably be 6.
Wow.
Eagles 7.
Well, maybe we'll do top 32 tomorrow.
January's a different story. Chiefs in January. That's my team.
I always want to use the side of my board to do 6.
49ers, Ravens, that is a bedrock for all of us.
Yeah.
You have it. Both those 2 teams, both in that order. Unless Jamie gets wild and says, Ravens are 1, Niners are 2. That's all right, I'm just going to go to it right now. I have the Bills at 3. The Bills just destroyed Dallas. The Bills just went to Arrowhead and won. It's not that, remember, we just showed the standings, and you showed the records and everything, and their record is not great. This is not about that. This is who is playing the best football right now. And what I saw against Dallas was a terrifying display of everything and new things with James Cook. I have the Bills at 3. I have the Lions at 4. We were all terrified in that Denver game. I think part of the Lions themselves was a little terrified going to that Denver game. And they wiped them out. Absolute destruction. They answered a lot of questions. They play the Vikings this weekend. And then number 5, I have the Dolphins for sure. They're going to be there in the end. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out. I like the Dolphins as well. I had some struggles. I don't have the Cowboys here. I couldn't put them there after winning in Buffalo. No Eagles here. Yeah. They haven't won a game in a month. We can get into who we struggled with. There's one team I wrote down and erased that just wasn't responsible, but it's a team I love, not in September, October, I love now. And we'll get to them in a minute. But that's my top 5, Jamie.
I have a guess of who is going to be, so let me go through mine and then I'll guess. I struggle with my number 5, but very similar as Kyle said. I go San Francisco and Baltimore right at the top as of 9 a.m. on the 20th of December, 2023. I struggled with Detroit, Miami. I could have flip-flopped them about 10 different times. The bounce back after the loss. The games that Detroit has lost to me are less detrimental in the way that they played than the Dolphins and that loss to the Titans. That was ugly. And if they don't get this Tyreek thing figured out, I'm going to be stressed for them. So I put the Dolphins below the Lions. And then I really could not between the Bills and the Chiefs. But to your point, Kyle, last week, the way the Bills looked against the Cowboys versus the Chiefs against the Patriots, I went Buffalo at 5. Can I guess what your team that you erased was? Who's playing great right now? Because I have one that I almost put on here.
Go ahead.
Would have felt reckless.
Go ahead.
The Cleveland Browns.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I wanted to put the Browns there as a top 5 right now.
They're 9 and
Right
5.
now.
Right now.
They're not,
and listen, they almost lost to a bad Bears team, and Flacco was not great in that game. He was great at the end of the game, and yet there's just something to it. There's something to it. They're a 9 and 5 team, and I don't want to play them.
See, my 6th team that I was debating was the LA Rams. I feel like the Rams are playing good football.
Great call.
They lost to the Ravens in an overtime game where Matthew Stafford played unbelievable, and they were beating the brakes off the Commanders this past week. They surged at the end, the Commanders did with Jacoby Brissett, but I like the Rams in the way they're playing.
Can I go through my Chiefs? Back up a little bit because people are already on Twitter are like, you are such a homer. I'm not a homer. Chiefs' remaining schedule, as we talk about this gauntlet that everyone else has, Chiefs' remaining schedule, they, on Christmas Day, host the Raiders, a team they routinely beat all the time when they play them. That's on this week, all right? Next week, the Bengals, formidable opponent, Jake Browning, great story, going to be playing for everything. Come to Arrowhead, Chiefs home. And then they play the Chargers week 18. That should be 3-0 for the Chiefs. If they finish the season with these 3 wins, and the Ravens lose to the Niners, and the Dolphins maybe lose to the Ravens or lose to the Cowboys, these teams start picking off each other, then it's the Arrowhead Invitational for the 6th straight year, meaning the Chiefs would have the 1 seed, the bye, and after 18 weeks of questioning the Chiefs, they would be sitting in the perch, and you have to come into Arrowhead, and that is not an easy place to play.
They got to play better, though.
Yeah, that Bengals game is going to be tough. Yeah. Really tough.
It will. That's a challenge.
Of the 3 you mentioned, that's a big challenge. The Bengals are good.
Top 5 right now, no Philadelphia Eagles on any of our boards. That's what happens when you lose 3 straight. We started our show confused as to what's happening in Philadelphia, and that's where you leave it.